How do I develop better communication skills? Check this video by our partner Winning by Design.
If you think about the best salespeople that you've ever met, they're probably great communicators. And there's a couple key things that you can do with your voice to also become a great communicator. It's by focusing on tone. This is something I wish somebody told me a lot earlier on in my career. There's things that you can change that get people to want to listen to what you're saying. Now there's a couple elements on things that you can change about your voice to help improve. The first is the speed. Sometimes when you get really excited about something, you tend to talk really fast. And sometimes there's certain people that you speak with that slow down. And I realized I learned this at a young age. My father was a World War II vet. And as I was growing up with him, I remember him speaking so slowly. And that was a really great sales lesson because it taught me that sales is not about what I want to communicate. It's about how the other person receives information. So we can match our speed to make sure that it's at the right pace for the person that we're talking to communicate with us. The second is volume. Sometimes when you speak to somebody that's very loud, it can become grating over time. Sometimes when you get somebody to drop their volume, listen in very closely. And so we can use this to our advantage to change how we communicate with somebody if we want to go deeper or we want to change the way that we're communicating to make it more interesting. Then we go into one of my favorite words, prosody. This takes into account two things. One, the root word pros, which is your word choice. If you're using complex language that the other person doesn't understand, you're not communicating very effectively. So make sure that you choose the right words that don't go over someone's head or make them feel like they're not very smart. Then we go into the melody part, or how you say those words. Sometimes when we get uncomfortable, we end our sentences in a question, even though it's not a question, and this can get really hard to listen to. So make sure that you don't do uptalk or just completely speak monotone and never change the inflection of your voice and it always sounds at this one level, because that can get really old. And one of the most powerful things that you can do when you're communicating with your voice is silence. Nothing wrong with a bit of silence. Silence lets somebody understand what you just said. Lets them think about it a little bit more deeply, or they usually will fill that silence because we all get a little uncomfortable, especially when it gets around that 3-second mark. So we have to use silence to our advantage. Don't fill it in with filler words like, yup, cool, got it, perfect, awesome, All of those don't add to the conversation. Instead, let there be a little silence, or if you ask a great question, it's okay to not fill it in with another question right away.
If you follow the videos we will be posting, you can be sure you will improve your communication skills.